Pine's expertise is focused on environmental monitoring, be it air, water, or soil, non-destructive testing, remote visual inspection, continuous emissions monitoring, or the supply of field and safety equipment. To be able to support our clients, we have well over 100 distribution agreements with various environmental non-destructive testing and remote visual companies. As you can see, we just have a sample of a few of them up here, but there are many, many more.
I'd like to actually show you the YSI 6920 and what sensors we have configured on it right now. So I just had my calibration cup here, but I'd like to point out, if the camera is visible, this is our pH sensor, which also has ORP next to it. This is our conductivity sensor, and then the two big bulky ones that we get questions about all the time. This one in here with the white plating or the gray plating is our turbidity sensor, and then our other sensor here is our dissolved oxygen. So this unit here is a V2, meaning it has 2 optical ports. So when configuring for it, when we take our orders, we'll configure the sensors up to our customers' expectations or what they're asking for. We'll install it, do the full calibration. Now, that being said, I'd like to show you guys what actually comes with the YSI 6920. So when you do rent this, I'll show you exactly how to connect everything up. So when you rent one of these bad boys, it'll come in a nice case like this. And here we have several accessories that I'd like to show you. Hopefully the camera can see it well. But first of all, you're going to get the manual with the quick card that Pine has made. The manual is a lot of pages, so sometimes our clients don't have all the time to go over it. So the most key points are within this quick card. Next, we provide calibration solutions that are all within the expiry. You'll have exactly 7 bottles here, and those usually go with our basic configuration, pH, ORP, conductivity, turbidity, and that's last. So with the 6920, I'm going to go over it and how we actually assemble it together, but it does have alkaline batteries. Those alkaline batteries are used for the long-term unattended sampling. We have here is a probe guard. So for both in situ and long-term assembly, long-term monitoring, sorry, you are going to want the probe guard to protect the sensors. And then lastly, if you are just doing low flow sampling, which also is discrete sampling, we have a low flow chamber, which you'll install the top of the 6920 in here. You'll have 2 barred ports that are also provided. They're actually just inside the flow cell right now. And then you can hook that up to either a peri pump or any type of pump that you have to get that low flow sample. Second, lastly, we have our communication cable here. It's a prolific cable and a serial cable with the software. The software is really easy to use. It's called YSI EcoWatch Lite. And when you export your data, it actually exports it as a CSV or Excel, making it that much easier. So you don't really have to play with anything. And then lastly, we have a stand here, which comes with the base plate, the rod, and the handle. This is important because when you're doing the calibrations, it definitely helps you. You're not going to tip the 6920 or anything like that. And we actually have one of these stands set up here. I don't really think you can see it in the picture. We might move the camera here for a second. And even though it's holding up a camera, I would be using it to hold up the 6920. So what I would like to do, because my main goal of this video is to really show you guys how to set up the 6920 to the 650 display for both discrete and attended sampling, because there's a lot of components involved with it and a lot of things that you can easily miss. So what I need from my case here, I'm going to grab my alkaline batteries. And in our data bag, we always keep the SON cap. This SON cap is actually used when you do long-term unattended sampling to prevent moisture from getting into the top of the 6920, and I'll show you that. All right. So, just gonna put some gloves on. Now, I'm gonna show you guys how to do discrete sampling first, because it's the easiest, and in most cases, when people want to just do on-the-spot sampling, it literally takes about 3 steps to do. So we're gonna go over that right now. So the batteries aren't needed to do discrete sampling because the power is actually going to come from the 650 display. So what do we need? We need the sonde. So we would take it out of the case. It's pretty much ready to go. Then supplied, if you need a certain size cable, the one we have in this video here is 25 feet. They can go up to 200 feet, or if you need any shorter, we can make that happen as well. So one end is going to be a male connection and one is going to be a female. This connection is our female. It's a long butted end, and we're going to put that on the top of the 6920 here. Just have to find the groove, push it down, tighten it, push it down once more, and then I can't go anymore. Excellent. So I'm going to try to keep that there. The other end is going to be the 650 display here, but hopefully you guys can make it out here. We have it on a tripod. Normally it would just be right in front of you. But on this guy here, we have our female end, or sorry, our male end. Hopefully you guys can see that. And likewise, there's a groove on the bottom there. It's a bigger one, and that just goes on the bottom side of the 650 display. Alrighty, so I have everything connected. I always make sure everything's connected, fasten, tighten before I turn anything on. That's just good practice to have. So now we might be able to actually see the 650 display here on camera, and I'll just double check everything's good. Excellent. So we're going to power this bad boy on. Does a little load up. Now on the 650 display, we have the 650 main menu. Okay. When I started talking about unattended sampling, we're going to start to learn that the 650 display has its own menu, and the 6920 has its own menu. So just to do discrete sampling on the spot in situ profiling, all you have to do is hit the sonde run button. You notice that connected right away. That's because this has been configured so that the power comes through the 650 display. Power is seen on the bottom here, so it looks like we have about 80% or so, which is pretty good, or 12.3 volts. These are some of this. These are the main settings I have configured on here. I'm going to quickly show you guys how to add even more parameters if you're missing anything, because we do get phone calls about that all the time. So we're going to press the escape button here. I'm going to go into sonde menu. Now, in the sonde menu, we have report. So this is going to report all the parameters that we are looking for. So as you can tell in the report setup, we've got date, time, temperature, everything that you literally saw on that first screen, and there's more. So if people are after resistivity, total dissolved solids, salinity, and more, we have pH, millivolts, and the list goes on. So obviously, there's only so many parameters because I have so many sensors configured on my 6920. So obviously, if you had different sensors, you would have to enable them through the report menu here. So I'm going to escape out of there. I want to go back into the run sequence just to show you guys again discrete sampling. On the screen here, we have sample intervals. So this actually populates the readings on the screen. Its most common practice is 0.5. We keep it at that. And then if we did want a data log for the discrete sampling, we could enter a file name. The file name is in order to type it out, it's just like an old cell phone where you had to press the same button simultaneously to get the letter that you want. So you just kind of have to play around with it to make the name, and then you can actually go forward and start your sampling. So with that being said, the discrete sampling is really easy. Basically, our customers, I would say about 25% of them that use the 6920 will use them for this purpose because the 6920 has turbidity sensor, which makes it much more capable than most of the other water quality equipment that we have. So now we're going to get into the meat and gravy of this, and what I really want to show you guys is the unattended sampling, because this is the most important part. We get a lot of phone calls about this, and I think it'd be a great tool to show you guys just because there's a lot of different components, and sometimes finding those components in the manual can be a little bit challenging. So before we do unattended sampling, I would like everybody to remember that you just need to go back into the 650 main menu, okay? When we're back in the 650 main menu and we go into system setup here, we'll see that on the 4th line, it says power sonde and it's checked. Well, what we're going to do is we're actually going to uncheck it. And what that does, it tells the 6920 that the power needs to come from the 6920 instead of the 650 display. So if I made that option there, what some of you might be wondering, have I installed the batteries yet? I have not. So I'm going to remove the top of the cable that I had here. Really easy, it just unthread it all the way, pull lightly, take that off. Then I'm going to unthread this top portion here. It didn't look like you could take it off at first, but you can. That comes all the way off. You'll notice that we have an O-ring here, another O-ring here. Want to make sure those are free of debris, dirt, or anything like that. Eventually down the line, when people are doing unattended sampling and they have to change the batteries out, I highly recommend that you guys do bring a paper towel with you or some type of rag where you can wipe this down. It's just good practice to do that to ensure that there's no leaks or possible leaks. So the alkaline batteries, we always provide you 8 of them with every rental. I'm going to take them out. On the 6920, I'm not really sure if you guys can quite see it, but there are positive and negative icons here, and they tell you exactly what direction to go. So I'm going to make sure they go in right. So this side has positive up. So make sure every battery is in the right position. 4 on one side, 4 on the other. Drop it down. Excellent. We look inside of here, I got no dirt or anything like that. It's been cleaned. I'm now going to press it down. Now this part is important because there are 2 O-rings. You must ensure that it's tight. Don't make sure it's tight. Water will get inside and it'll get into the alkaline compartments, and that's never a good thing.